I want to talk about the Chiefs receiving core. One of the things that they did such an effort of this past offseason was trying to add depth at that position. Not necessarily being a team that has one superstar anymore, although they do with Travis Kelce, but he's not a wide receiver. Some people would argue with that with how infrequently he blocks, but that's besides the point. The reality is, in terms of their wide receivers, what they tried to do was add a lot of depth, and I think this play shows exactly why it was so successful. So what's going to happen here is it's a zone coverage play that the Eagles are in, and you're going to have three different key figures here on this play. The first of which, we're going to start with the guy closest towards the sideline on this one. That is Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who did not have a catch in this one. Did not have a catch. He had a horrible day. He got shut down. Well, not on every route you're trying to get a catch. Sometimes you're trying to help someone else get a catch, and that's what MVS is doing here. What is the thing about Marquez Valdes-Scantling? What's the thing you know about him? You got to worry about getting burned down the field of him. He's a fast player. You have to make sure that if you see him start running a go route, which he's going to start off doing, you have to make sure you stay deep with him. So even though there's a safety and a corner on that side of the field, they're both going to pay attention to MVS, and that's where the next guy comes in. The second closest towards the sideline, the one right next to MVS, that is Juju Smith-Schuster. His job is to kind of just get to, sort of where the corner for Philadelphia is currently. Kind of try to get to where MVS clears that area out, you go in that area. Now, a linebacker could stay deep, but you have Kadarius Toney running underneath, and to help sell it even more, you're going to have Mahomes sort of fake as though you're throwing it in that direction. That's the way this play works. Well, okay, we've seen plenty of plays that on paper make sense, but don't work out in practice. So is this play going to work out in practice? We'll watch how when Mahomes takes the snap, he really sells the fake well. The Eagles players stay deep with MVS well, and now Smith-Schuster is completely wide open. It helps when you have Andy Reid to design these plays, but it helps Andy Reid when you have so many guys who can run routes successfully. On this play, it wasn't about having one player run a great route. It was having three players run a solid route, and that's what happened. Mahomes does make this throw, and they are able to pick up a decent little chunk play right there. So again, people will look at this and say, oh man, how did these guys get wide open? Philadelphia defense, what are you doing? Well, it's because they're getting really, out-schemed by a really good scheme by Andy Reid. This isn't bad coaching, I think, by Philadelphia, or bad defense by Philadelphia. It's good coaching by Kansas City. That's the way I viewed it. Of course, we then saw stuff like this, which this was kind of the highlight of the Super Bowl, I thought, for the Chiefs, were these back-to-back plays. Sort of similar concept where first it's going to be Kadarius Toney. He's one-on-one against Darius Slay, which is a mismatch. I mean, Darius Slay, great corner. Kadarius Toney, when he's healthy, he's pretty good. The issue is he's never healthy. But, even when he's healthy, this is a mismatch. Slay's a very good corner. But they're not just going to expect Toney to win one-on-one. Andy Reid doesn't ask his receivers to just go out and win. He makes it easier for them. Toney goes in motion towards the middle, and you see how badly Slay falls for this fake. And again, these things take so much time to work. It's so easy to look at this now and say, oh, Darius Slay, what are you doing? You got fooled. And he did get fooled. It's still fair to blame him. But there's a reason why he got fooled so badly, because so often on tape, you see Kadarius Toney go in motion from one side to the other. You see them use motion all the time, and they save it for a very important time to then start running these fake motion plays. The Eagles have a counter to this motion stuff, which is they switch, which is a very effective strategy. And if you don't switch, then Darius Slay has to drive through all of that traffic over the middle to try and get to where Toney is at. That's just hard. That's just really difficult to do. And there's a real chance Toney's going to get open and get a touchdown. So what you do is you have your safety then take on Kadarius Toney. He covers him on the other side of the field. Slay goes back and plays the safety position. A lot of communication has to happen to make that happen. He has to get over there quickly, and that's why he's paying so much attention to that. So when Toney then just cuts to the outside, he's wide open. He's able to literally walk in for a touchdown. So good stuff by Toney as well. I mean, again, it helps when you're running these plays to have the guy who can seemingly be running full speed in one direction and then start running full speed in the opposite direction without ever slowing down. Like, it definitely helps to have that guy to do this, but it's also clever stuff. It's the receiving core and how Andy Reid uses them. And so on the very next play, they would do this, where, again, you get the big punt return, you get to this spot where they're going to say, okay, well, listen, I don't know how much time they've had to talk about this stuff. It's the next drive. Have they all communicated, hey, be aware of a fake motion? I just don't know if they've had time to do that. And on this play, they're going to do the exact same thing. Skyy Moore, and you see the corner who's covering him. You might be wondering, wait a second, why is that the corner covering him? He's not the one who's lined up on Skyy Moore. Well, again, it's just worth mentioning that they're going to switch once again. Not a full switch with the safety, but now it's just going to be the corner who's on the inside on this play is going to switch, and he's going to be the one who takes on Skyy Moore's route. It's Avonte Maddox, who's a good player, but again, is he fully aware of the fact that there might be a fake switch coming? Well, watch what happens as the fake, not the fake switch, the fake motion comes, where you see that Skyy Moore starts to go as though he's going over the middle, and Maddox, he's looking over. I think at this point he's like, wait a second, where is him? I lost him. Where did Skyy Moore go? I think he just thought that he lost him for a second and is still in that direction, which puts him just completely away from the play. I mean, he's currently, closer towards the sideline on the bottom of the screen than the sideline on the top of the screen, and the sideline on the top of the screen is where Skyy Moore is going. Again, Mahomes is going to be able to hit Skyy Moore. You could easily sit here and say, well, that's good coaching, not good receiving core play, but it still is something that this receiving core has to be able to pull off. Skyy Moore ran a good route on that one. Is it a route that put him in a good position to succeed? Yes, but he still had to go out and win, and he did exactly that. And also, let's give some love to Justin Watson, for example, kind of a career practice squad guy, it seems like. But when he comes to Kansas City, seems like he's always come in and just made the occasional play here and there, and he had a play in this Super Bowl as well. And again, that's just what makes this team so good, is that when you have your fifth, sixth string wide receiver coming in and he can make plays, it's going to be really difficult to cover all these guys. This is man coverage, and certainly the guy you're least concerned about, the least concerned about on this play is going to be Justin Watson, who's running a route that, in fairness, is a good route against this type of coverage. If he can get the inside leverage, these plays can work. Look at how when Mahomes takes the snap, he's going to look over, and Justin Watson is getting the inside leverage, and there is a window for him to be able to make the play. So right off the bat, you're in a good situation if you're Kansas City. And again, this is just the value of being so deep, is you don't have to rely on a Tyreek Hill to get open, and when he doesn't get open, you're screwed, because you now have legitimately 5 eligible receivers on every play who can get open. Mahomes is going to be able to make this throw. Watson makes a good catch, and they pick up a decent play on that one. Really good stuff by Watson, really good stuff by Mahomes, and good stuff by Andy Reid too. That was still a concept that works well against that type of coverage, so I'll give him some credit as well. And this is just, again, this is kind of football at the end of the day. This is what football really all comes down to. Listen, it's easier to tell a story when you just have to tell a story about one or two people, but the reality is football is such a team sport, and it's such a depth position sport that having depth is what allows you to win. And that's what allowed the Chiefs to win this year, where they weren't able to win in the past couple of years. Everyone talked about that Tampa Bay Super Bowl and the tackles being the issue, but a big issue as well was guys weren't consistently getting open. Tampa Bay found a way to take away Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and they didn't really have another option here. Well, now, even if you take away their top 2 options, they got like 3 more who can get open, and that's what makes them so deadly and what makes them Super Bowl champions. At least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.